Hey, welcome to another edition of Access Central TV. I'm Andy Hersman, and we're going to have an interesting topic today. It's going to be the cost of education. And with me to talk about that is, here we go. What's your name again? I'll let you introduce yourself.
All right. I'm Moses Nunez Jr.
See, I don't want to say Nunez, I want to say Nunez.
Oh, yeah, just go Nunez,
right.
like,
right.
like, yeah,
That's why
like you're scared.
I let you say it, but
yeah,
okay.
No, that's cool.
But anyway, so you're a student at Suffolk Community College, so this would be a perfect guest for the topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically...
You mean topic for the guests.
Topic. Well, also, yeah. Well, both...
I'm sorry, I have to do that.
It's okay. No, you're right. It's a good topic for the guest and a good guest for the topic, so... All right. Anyway. So let's talk about, the cost of education. Because it's been skyrocketing, obviously. Now, especially private schools, what are they up to now? 40, 50,000?
To be honest with you, I'm not too sure because back in 2009.
Yeah.
Well, I went to private school in 2005.
Okay.
And the cost of going there for one full year was $2,500.
Wow.
Yeah. But I kind of
Well, that was community college.
Pretty much, I was.
So you said private?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Community's not private.
I know, but I'm saying like private school, like private school, not public school. Private, it's private. Like it's not. I'm not talking about college. I'm also talking about private school as well.
Well, like BOCES or something?
No, private school, like a religious.
Oh, school. A high school though.
Yeah.
Private high school.
Yeah, private high school.
Okay.
Yeah, it's equivalent to the cost of going to a community college.
Wow. So, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So the kids who are going to Catholic school, they have to pay that kind of money.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I fortunately lucked out. The pastor of the church did a deal with my mom saying if she was the lunch lady, that could go for free.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
that's a good benefit, huh?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
All right. Well, no, but now I want to talk about further education, not just, high school.
Okay.
Because most people, they have an alternative. If they can't go to a private school, the public school is still available for free.
Of course.
But that's what I wanted to talk about because now Obama talked about having community college for free.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people are excited about that because it opens up some doors. Tell me how you feel towards that.
Is the FCC listening to this?
Well, no, this is cable, but
okay.
I'm sure.
For lack of a better term, it's bull poo-poo.
It's bull poo-poo?
Yeah, and it's only for one reason. Why?
Don't worry, it's free speech. You can say it.
All right, it's because now he decides to do it when I'm about to graduate. That's my problem.
Oh, so you feel left out?
I feel left out. I got to pay the debts of going to school, and now this school system is going to be free. These if it's passed, because it hasn't been passed yet.
No, it's an idea. So.
Exactly, and idea can only get you as far as you can take it.
Okay, but what do you think of the idea in general? Because a lot of people, especially Republicans, are against it. Because again, they think. Their motto is nothing is free, which is true. It's going to cost taxpayers money.
Well, you got to.
It's a good investment, I think.
It varies. I think it varies.
All right.
I think it's a great idea, personally, in general. I think that it's a good thing that they're doing this for kids because, they just increased the interest rate 2 years ago to 6%.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, you're setting, this system is setting up kids these days for failure right out of school.
Right.
Because, you got to go to, what this whole media concept is, which it doesn't always work for somebody. It doesn't always work for someone. It's, you graduate high school, you go straight to college. You go straight to college, you find what you want to do, and if you don't, tough,
Okay.
But there are people, here that they don't know what they want to do. Like I was one of those people. Like I knew that I wanted to go to school and I wanted to do media, but I didn't know what type of media I wanted to do.
All right.
But I have to pay loans for Suffolk. I'm about $5,000, $7,000 in debt.
Yikes.
In school loans, which isn't insurmountable.
Well, it's
compared
up there.
to Harvard and Princeton and St.
But it's
John's.
still a lot of money.
Of course, yeah. But they're setting up children to go to school, take out loans because let's face facts. It's either you're high class or you're low class. There's a very thin line of middle class people.
Right.
So your middle class person, especially on Long Island, cannot afford $2,500, and that's not just for. We're not talking about books. We're not talking about transportation purposes.
Sure.
We're talking about just getting in there.
Right.
So that's not even guaranteeing you're going to come out with a piece of paper.
Amazing. Pretty scary.
Right. So
wow.
I think,
and then the piece of paper doesn't guarantee a job either.
Exactly.
So,
but
it's a big risk.
Exactly, and for someone someone that my cousin is good friends with, went to school for criminal justice.
Okay.
Owes about $50,000 in loans.
Wow.
He graduated college, give or take 3-4 years ago.
Right.
And what he's doing with that degree now is letting it collect dust.
Wow.
He does HVAC for a living.
What's that?
HVAC is heating, ventilation, and I think air conditioning.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
So there's money in that then?
There's a lot of money in HVAC.
Well, see, then sometimes you don't need an education.
Of course.
Then.
Yeah, well, America, guys. Sometimes people don't use their diplomas or their degrees for what they want to do, and, people change their minds. But I don't think that you should penalize someone in loans if they just say, hey, I want to all of a sudden go to school for, I don't know, web design. If I'm paying these schools, practically their salary.
Right.
And, it's costing me money every year.
Sure.
So if I'm wasting money every single year just to find out exactly what I want to do, how much money am I going to be in debt by the time I graduate?
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Well, also what I wanted to bring up, by the way, if the audience wants to participate, we do. This is not a live show. Unfortunately, we can't have the capability of doing live. But if you want to give us your opinion, we'll give you the number. It's 631-440-6012. And leave a message on the answer machine. We'll air it on the show, and that way we'll get your opinions on the air also. But what I wanted to add to the Obama thing was he's not saying everybody who feels like going to school will get it for free. I think he has some rules, like you have to have a certain grade point average or something.
Okay.
So in other words, it's a serious thing. If you're really serious about learning, he'll give you the opportunity.
Yeah. Which, to be in his defense is a great thing, because I don't think education should be taken lightly as it is now.
Okay.
Granted, your maturity level changes, as you grow up.
Okay.
Like personally, I graduated high school at 19.
Yeah.
And I was, kind of immature.
Well, it's a transition. Because,
of course.
I understand.
Of course.
A lot of people, it's a whole different world when you go from high school into college.
It's got its moments. It's not really. I feel like it's really.
Well, it's more responsibility on yourself.
Oh yeah. But my only thing is that worries me is that it could backfire in how people treat public school, because they say, oh, I can go to school for free.
Yeah.
All right, I got a high grade point average, but if I go to school for free, I'll just slack. Like my motivation to doing well in school was not only doing it because it's going towards something that I love to do,
right,
but it's also that I can't, BS around,
right,
and, go and hang out like till 3 o'clock in the morning if I got a test that I got to take at 8,
right,
because if I fail, then I get booted out because my financial aid gets cut. And then that's the money that I got to be paying back eventually.
Right.
So, that's a waste of money.
Well, that's why I brought up this fact that, Obama's not going to give everybody a free ride because he wants results.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. It's like, you're not going to slack off because it's free because, it won't get paid unless you have a certain amount of high grades.
True,
so.
but you're going to have those people that are going to, they're going to try to get, they're going to try to get schooling for free.
Right.
And eventually that's just going to slide right down. It's just going to be.
You think so?
It's an assumption.
Yeah.
But, there's always.
It's not really proven fact.
No, it's not proven fact yet.
Excuse me. Wow,
and
tickle, sorry.
It's all right. And stats do tell the story. So, eventually, if this gets passed, which honestly I don't think it's going to pass because, Republicans, like you say, are these, for lack of a better term, these Bible waving, gunslinging, money saving guys, and I'm an independent.
Right.
That are not for what Obama does, and it goes back to, this whole political party thing, Barack Obama is a Democrat, so right off the bat, it's going to be a biased opinion because Republicans are going to see it as, well, he is just going to ruin America if he does this because he's a Democrat.
Yeah, well, whatever he does, they're against it, obviously.
Exactly, like he can bring world peace and they'll still have a problem with it.
Well, that's getting into politics now. But,
yeah, I know.
But before we get into that, I also wanted to bring up the fact that I heard in the news just recently, a couple of months ago, that Germany is offering free education, for Americans.
Really?
Yeah. So which is absolutely amazing. I mean, think about it. You can fly over there, all right, and it doesn't even you don't even have to know the language. They teach stuff in English too.
Oh, really?
And they have several universities over there that accept American students and absolutely free. So, that's another alternative,
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, other countries, I think, value education more than we do.
They do.
But it's interesting because, I think education is very important, especially nowadays. We live in modern times with computers and all this modern equipment, and we have to stay on top of science and math and things like that. That we're falling behind right now compared to other countries.
I think we're like 19th in the world right now.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Especially
America.
Yeah. No, I think it's very sad because. We used to be pretty much number one in everything, and back in the day...
Not obesity.
Well, no, not any... But, things like, we were putting men on the moon.
Yeah.
We had the best engineers that were capable of accomplishing something that, it's amazing. The whole world looked at us, and said, wow, these Americans, they can do anything, They're number one at pretty much everything, and now we let it slip through our fingers and let everybody else get ahead of us, and it's sad.
Well, it's because we got too comfortable, and
maybe that's a good point.
A lot of people, and it just goes for everything.
Yeah.
Everyone has a comfort zone, and I'm not trying to be a communications teacher or anything. But
right.
Everyone has a comfort zone. Now, no one likes stepping out of that comfort zone.
Right.
And that's what really is realistically what makes you progress in life, is that feeling of getting out of your comfort zone and doing something you thought you would never do before. Now, America, we were number one we were on top for how many years? We were
almost forever. I mean, ever since World War II, the end of World War II to
that was
the early 70s, I think,
actually
to the point where
even
the Cold
early
War
90s.
ended.
Early 90s.
I think once the Cold War ended, that's when we started to, slack off a little because
we were,
we were like, we won, we accomplished what we needed to do, and then that was.
Well, you know what it was? It's just because, you don't win a war, you survive it. That's something my 7th grade teacher always taught me.
Okay.
And he said, no matter what, everyone loses in war, no matter what it is.
Yeah, but see, Cold Wars are different, though.
Well, the Cold War, it wasn't an actual war.
Right,
It was
that's what
more
I'm
of
talking about.
exactly. But I'm saying, like, as in terms of World War II, World War One. You know, we're not even going to talk about the Vietnam War because that was bad.
Yeah.
That was blacklisted.
Okay.
You know, like every war we've gone in besides Vietnam,
Yeah.
we've come out as the triumphant, you know, heroes, the white horse,
right.
you know, riding through the field, you know, knights in shining armor.
Yeah.
And and that's all great. And you know, got to our head because
Yeah.
in, you know, this civilization, we are the babies. You know, we
Sure.
are the baby country because, you know, not Europe, Britain's been around for God knows how long.
Sure.
The French have been around since God, like, you know, Europe, you know, those European countries,
Yeah.
they've been around, you know, even way before us. You know, they were
Sure.
they were around during the Roman empires.
Sure.
You know, to some extent.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
and
I understand what you're saying.
exactly. And you know, we're this little, and I apologize, we're this, you know, we've only been around for what, 400, 500 years?
Well, that's if you want to, you know, include the pilgrims and all that. But we, you know, I mean, we started in 1776 officially.
Officially,
you
but
know, so
realistically, it was like
something years ago.
yeah,
you
but
know?
it was like 16. We came here what, 1620 was the year?
Well, yeah,
that
you
the
know,
Pilgrims-
to settle. It
So-
wasn't really a country then, but
Well, realistically, it was the foundations of the country.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So like it's like saying, well, you're born, you just came out of your mom's womb,
right.
but you're technically not human for another year.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So you have to still put that in because that was what eventually became America.
Yeah.
So
But you know, getting back to the Cold War, I think that
Yeah.
was actually a good thing in a way.
Yeah.
Because it gave us, you know, a competition with
Mm-hmm.
the Russians, with the Soviet Union, and that's the reason why we went to the moon. That's the reason why we tried so hard to, you know, better ourselves because we had a reason to. You know, we had this major competition that we had to defeat, you know, and not just militarily, but you know, with science, with space, with you know, we wanted to prove to the world that we were superior to the you know, to the Russians.
Yeah.
And that competition gave us the motivation to, you know, go to school, learn science, become astronauts, you know, become engineers, become you know, people who are educated, and to, you know, use that education to further the country, you know. And we lost that ever since I really think that since the, you know, the Berlin Wall came down and the Cold War ended, we just said, you know, we took a breath and said, all right, well, we accomplished our goal. You know, we showed those Russians were better than them, and then just let everything drop.
But
you know, and it's sad. I mean, we don't even have our own, you know, space shuttle anymore. We have to go to the Russians now and beg them for a ride to this, you know. So that's embarrassing.
We won the Cold War, yet we come back with our tails behind our legs saying, please,
that's
Russia.
my point.
Yeah.
That's my point, you know.
See, the thing is with that is, you know, like I said, we got too lazy. And also, you know, the whole comfort zone, and, you know, we were on top, like you said.
Yeah.
And, you know, Russia, even during the Cold War, even though they gave us competition, they were still technically 10 years behind in technology. And you know,
to a degree,
you
know,
but they still were behind to some extent. So we weren't, you know, we were kind of aware, like they were on the radar,
right?
And we made sure that we knew that they were on the radar.
Yeah.
But they weren't that big of a threat. Yeah, granted.
Oh, no.
No.
I don't agree with
that.
No,
I mean, look, don't get me wrong. If there was a world war and they were on the opposite side, we would have a hard time. But, you know.
I mean, they had almost just as many nuclear weapons as we have.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and they were the first ones to put up a satellite. Okay, so
Sputnik.
Yeah, and that was one of the most embarrassing things because that kind of lit, you know, the fire under us, you know, like to get motivated because you know, we let that happen. You know, all of a sudden you heard this beep coming from outer space. You know, all these radio operators would pick up the signal from the satellite, and you know, that was like, back then, I was like, oh, the first satellite ever, and we're sitting here, and it wasn't ours,
Yeah.
it was theirs. And here they are broadcasting this beep all around the world on the satellite, and we're sitting back and going, that's not ours,
Yeah.
So that's what motivated us to go, hey, we got to beat these guys.
Well, it's your typical David and Goliath story.
Yeah, absolutely.
America was the Goliath. We were like the I don't even know the term for it.
I think you're underestimating their capabilities.
No, I know that Russia was a dominant force, and to some extent they are. But now our new, realistically, our new Russia of this generation is China. But I will get to that in a minute, because what I want to say is, like what you said before, competition is what thrives us. It makes us motivated. It makes us want to makes that's what competition does. It makes you. It takes it brings the best out of you.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. It happens in everything. For example, I play video games.
Sure.
And there was a company named 2K Sports that was a up and coming. Well, they weren't up and coming. They were really relatively known for their sport games. Whereas another sport, a man by the name of John Madden, who was a head coach of the Oakland Raiders, decided, hey, well, I'm successful. I'm gonna make me a video game. And they were in competition with each other.
Right.
And in 2004, there were more games sold by 2K Sports than there were Madden.
Wow.
So Madden started slowly coming back up.
Right.
And then it started declining.
Right.
So when Madden had the upper hand, what they did was they bought all the licensing rights to the NFL, thus saying that if you're not affiliated with the NFL, or you're not Madden, you're not allowed to use any of the players' names, the team names, the stadium names, the Super Bowl, and without their authorization. Pretty much eliminating all their competition.
Right.
Now, Madden, throughout the years, they have slacked in their productivity to deliver out a new game. It's pretty much an updated roster every single year.
Right.
Why? Because there is not one single person that can match up with them, because they eliminate their competition.
Right.
Same thing goes with America. America now felt like, well, we don't have no competition, so let's just kick our feet back, smoke a cigar, and call it a day.
I see. Well, what do you suggest, since we're going to probably run out of time soon, what do you suggest we do to get motivated again, to get people to want to learn and go to school and become something, want to become educated, want to become something higher up than a regular middle class person. What can we do, since we don't have a Cold War anymore? What will motivate people to want to become number one again?
I think first of all, the whole thing that Barack Obama did with the free community college, I think that's a step in the right direction to do that.
Okay.
What I personally feel is what we should do to get kids motivated to learn and study is just to make it fun. Make it entertaining for them. Make it not in a, hey, I want to, sit there and play Call of Duty all day.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, make it worth their while. You know what I mean? Like, for example, remember, what was that? House of School Rocks?
Oh, right. Yeah, they would make a song out of.
I'm just a bill.
Yeah.
On Senate
that worked.
Hill.
That was very successful.
That's what I'm saying. We should produce more shows like that. Well, not more shows, but we should make learning as fun as it possibly can be.
Okay, but some things are not fun. I mean, chemistry, it's not fun. It's
to everyone's their own.
Yeah, but
I mean?
There's certain things that require hard work, and not everything's not going to be fun.
That's true.
And that's the problem, because I think we emphasize entertainment so much in this country. Because people talk so much about football scores and entertainment news and gossip and all that, and no one cares about politics anymore. Nobody cares about I think it's almost too much entertainment.
Well, we're spoiled. That's why.
Yeah, so we got to start getting down to earth and saying, listen, not everything has to be entertaining. Sometimes you have to really put some hard work into learning
Yeah.
and studying and making sure that you know it, because in the long run, that's what's going to make it worthwhile. Is the what you get out of it, you know, whatever you put into it.
What we should do is, you know, instead of focusing all this attention on like what did Lady Gaga do or who did Kim Kardashian sleep
it's
with,
nonsense.
We should be focusing more on the important things, like you said. You know, like we should bring out more news and show people what's going on in the world, and not only that, but
Right.
you know, only the media also has a hand in this. You know, like
Well, yeah, the media is partially to blame.
yeah, I mean, like look at these gatekeepers,
Right,
for
right.
example.
Yeah.
You know, they determine what they want. Like, for example, Bloomberg, he's a gatekeeper.
Right.
He can decide what he wants, you know, on his show.
Right.
Just because it's his show.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'll leave it at that. We're running out of time, you know, so the show was very informative, I think. And again, if you want to, give us your opinions, this phone number, call us at 631-440-6012 and leave a message on the machine, you know, what your opinion is, and we'll air it on the next show. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And, hopefully you'll tune in again next week. We're going to have another interesting topic. And until then, have a very good evening.